Tigray's President Debretsion Gebremichael yesterday wrote a letter to UN Secretary General. Did UN Secretary General pay any attention to this letter? Secondly, African Union has appointed Obasanjo, former Nigerian president, as High Representative for the Horn of Africa. Can he play any role toward the resolution of Tigray conflict? Thirdly, Tigray Defense Force has launched a fresh offensive on Zone 4 of Afar region. It seems that once again TDF is planning to advance towards Ethiopia-Djibouti strategic road. As you know, viewers, that Tigray's President Debretsion Gebremichael wrote a letter to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres before yesterday's meeting. The question is, did the UN pay any attention to Debretsion Gebremichael's letter and his offer of negotiations? In the letter, Debretsion Gebremichael had agreed that Tigray is ready to hold talks through a neutral mediator. It was a huge development. I mean, Tigray's government earlier laid out preconditions for the start of talks over Tigray conflict. But in yesterday's letter, Debretsion Gebremichael offered that Tigray's government is ready to hold talks through a mediator. But what happened at the UN Security Council is that Secretary General in his statement did not talk of any mediation. In fact, he says that conditions must be created for the holding of a national inclusive political dialogue. So he means to say that Ethiopians should solve their problems on their own. No talk of any mediation in Antonio Guterres' address at the UN Security Council. Take a listen to what Antonio Guterres said at the UN Security Council meeting yesterday.
All parties must immediately end hostilities without preconditions and seize that opportunity to negotiate a lasting ceasefire. Foreign forces should leave the country. Unrestricted humanitarian access to all areas in need must be guaranteed, and humanitarian workers must be respected. Public services must be re-established. I believe there is an opportunity to address the conflict peacefully, which the parties must seize in the interest of Ethiopia. And conditions must be created for the start of an inclusive national political dialogue to address the underlying causes of the conflict and ensure Ethiopian voices direct the pathway to peace.
It seems that the UN does not want to be part of any solution to this conflict, that Ethiopians should find a solution on their own, which does not seem very possible, honestly. Secondly, viewers, African Union has appointed a special representative, a high representative for the Horn of Africa. Former Nigerian President Obasanjo has been appointed as African Union's high representative for the Horn of Africa. He'll try to resolve ongoing conflicts in the Horn of Africa through engagement with stakeholders, different stakeholders, parties to these conflicts. Of course, Tigray is one of the major conflicts in the Horn of Africa. Can Obasanjo, a former president of Nigeria, play any role in the resolution of Tigray conflict? Well, Obasanjo monitored Ethiopian elections. He was appointed as the head of African Union's election observer mission. Elections were held in June, viewers. The election was boycotted by two main Oromo parties, OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, and OFC, Oromo Federalist Congress. TPLF has been banned. TPLF has been declared a banned outfit. And Obasanjo had declared that the election held in Ethiopia on the 21st of June was free, fair, and no irregularities came to notice. Obasanjo came under fire from opposition groups in Ethiopia that he was approving an election which was controversial. So, secondly, African Union is not acceptable as a mediator for Tigray's government. Tigray's president, Debretsion Gebremichael, yesterday wrote a letter to the UN Secretary General. In the letter, he had ruled out the possibility of African Union playing any role in the resolution of Tigray conflict, because African Union has been backing this Ethiopian government's offensive on Tigray from day one. In November, I think, a session was held in which African Union had backed this so-called law and order operation in Tigray. So that is why I think that Obasanjo cannot play any major role to resolve this conflict, which has now spread into Amhara and Afar regions too. Third and the most important news story is about new offensive by Tigray Defense Force on Zone 4 of Afar region. Several sources are saying that Tigray Defense Force has launched a new offensive on Zone 4 of Afar region. Zone 4 is situated to the east of southern Tigray, Koram, Alamata, and TDF launched an offensive on this Zone 4 after it took control of Koram and Alamata more than a month ago. TDF had captured 4 Woredas back then: Yellow, Golina, Ora, and Iva Woreda. TDF was trying to advance from Iva Woreda towards Shifra, towards Mili, towards Ethiopia-Djibouti road, but then a counter-offensive was launched by Ethiopian National Defense Force and Afar Special Forces. TDF had to retreat from Iva Woreda. Status of Ora Woreda was also not clear. It was being said that TDF had cancelled its offensive towards Ethiopia-Djibouti road, but today reportedly several sources confirm that Tigray Defense Force is now trying to advance towards Ora and Iva Woredas. So it's a new offensive from TDF to advance towards Ethiopia-Djibouti road. Fighting is underway in Afar region on 3 fronts, viewers. Firstly, this front, Ora Iva Woredas, Zone 4. Secondly, Zone 2, Tigray Defense Force has attacked Birhale Woreda in Zone 2. Birhale is situated to the east of Wakaro, Makele, and here reportedly, according to some sources, Eritrean forces could also be part of this conflict, because Tigray Defense Force, if it takes control of Birhale, it could move towards Eritrea border. Third front is Afar Somali clashes in Zone 3, viewers. In Zone 3, 48 hours ago, reportedly Somali militias launched an offensive on Afar region, and these Somali militias, Somali forces have penetrated deep into this Zone 3 and fighting is underway here. Now, Ethiopian National Defense Force is fighting in Amhara region. We know that. On Debretsion front, on Dasi front, there is presence of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Now, when Afar forces are fighting on 3 fronts, is there presence of ENDF in Afar or not? We are not hearing much about the presence of ENDF on these 3 fronts, which are very important fronts, especially Iva Ora Woreda front and Birhale Woreda front. These 2 fronts are very important for TDF for Afar region, but we haven't heard any statement from Ethiopian National Defense Force about their operations on these 2 fronts. I think for watching.